I got a question the other day. Why are building acoustic measurements usually made in the frequency range 50 to 5000 hertz? 5 kilohertz, that is. Yeah, and the long story short is that when you do any kind of measurement and you want to verify stuff, you need to pick a range of measurement that is going to capture most of the problems that you're going to encounter. And if you do in this range, there's a high probability that you will capture most of the problems that can occur in buildings and dwellings or premises like offices or hospitals or schools or whatever. So it's the same thing if you would like to measure the length of human beings, let's say. You could pick a range of 0 to 10 meters and that you 100% guarantee will capture every single human being on the planet. However, you're also going to measure way too much data. It's not going to make sense. You could decrease that measurement range and go for a more narrow specification, and you would still get the data that you would require. So let's say you go from 1.5 to 2 meters or 2.1 or 2.2. There might be someone that are shorter and there might be one or two that are taller than 2.2 meters, but there's so few, so it might be a trade-off that's worth considering. For the same reason that airplane seats cannot accommodate every single human being, or a car seat is optimized for a certain range. So that's the same reason here. And why 50 to 5000 hertz? Well, to begin with, usually say that human hearing is between 20 to 20,000 hertz. So this is a subset of the spectrum that we hear. So why 50 to 5000? I did some quick calculations here. Let me show you. Here we've got a concrete wall, solid homogeneous concrete, 255 millimeters. It's just a randomly selected thickness I got here. So I want to compare this one with light frame construction like this one with double layer gypsums and a separate framing structure and mineral wool. So it's the same thickness, 255 in both cases. Now you have up here the single number quantity sound reduction. It's 62, 64 dBs of sound reduction. So they're pretty much equal if you just consider this parameter. But what's more interesting here is if you look at the frequency range here. Here's the spectrum, and we're looking at sound reduction index. So what that means is that a higher decibel rating on that curve is better, because this is how much the sound is reduced from one space to another. So if there's a party going on in your neighbors and they play 100 decibels, then you're going to have a reduction of it's different for different frequencies. So the higher up in frequencies you go, the more decibel reduction you get on the sound when it is inside your apartment. And now if we look at the upper range of the spectrum, around 4,000-5,000 hertz here, we're approaching 75-80 dBs of sound reduction up here for this concrete wall. And then we look on the other wall here, a lightweight construction. It's a different Y scale, and I'm not sure how to change it, but anyways, we're also around 75-80 up here. And if you continue to even higher frequencies, 6, 8, 10,000, all the way up to 20,000, I'm pretty sure that this curve would continue upwards and you would get better and better sound insulation for those super high frequencies. So that's one of the reasons then why we don't need to go higher than 5,000, because if you have proper sound insulation all the way up to 5,000, you're very likely to have even better if you continue and look higher than that. Sure, there might be some case where it's not enough, but they are very, very few and probably very far between also. Now in the lower range of the spectrum, down to 50 hertz, here's something interesting, which actually should be another Q&A video, because that's a whole topic by itself. Is 50 enough? Well, many countries have regulations that span from 100 hertz as the lower limit. In Sweden, we have from 50 hertz, and some other countries as well have picked this up and expanded the range, because if we compare these two, even though they have the same RW rating up here, 64 and what was the other one, 62, this one has a sound reduction of 45-ish down here in the lower end of the spectrum, whereas the lightweight construction has a bit less down here. So they're not equal with regard to low frequency performance. And there is an ongoing discussion about whether we should perhaps increase this even further down to 20 hertz. And for airborne sound reduction, I don't think there's a point in that. Perhaps 50 is enough, or perhaps even 100 is enough. Let's not go into that discussion here. But for walking sound, when we're talking about the noise that you hear when your neighbor is walking on the floor above you, we might need to consider even lower frequencies to get a better representation of how annoying the sound is perceived when someone is walking on the floor above. Well, but that's another discussion. We'll do that one some other time. So anyway, long story short then, building acoustic measurements are usually made in the frequency range of 50 Hz to 5000 Hz for the simple reason that by doing so, we're going to capture most of the things that could perhaps create a problem in a building. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a little trick that I often use when I combine an outfit. Because now I'm using this white shirt, gray square window pane jacket, and a little pocket square here with some beige, and it's some blue and a little purple burgundy-ish here. And then I pick this up once again. Now I'm not an acrobat, so I'm gonna remove my sock. And you see here, I picked this up once more. So here you have the purple burgundy stuff, a little brown, right? Yeah, I think you got pretty much all these colors. Come again. You have a blue line, a white line, a beige line, and yeah, it's the same colors here. And that's something that is pleasing to the eye. If you see the whole outfit, it's like a little theme that repeats and is coming back once more down here. So this one harmonizes nicely with this one. So don't forget about the socks. Even though when you have shoes on, you might see a little piece of them. But what did he say? The devil's in the details. And same goes for men's fashion. All right. See you later. And keep the questions coming. I'm glad that you ask. Ciao.